This is Duke University.
I love this. It was so wonderful because, there's this stance on improvisation, interactivity, and art making. Kind of reminds you of Matthew Arnold a little bit, I guess and Rodney Brooks, to be fair, is one of the, real pioneers of a certain change that happened in AI and moving away from the kind of brittle, sort of super logic-based models toward models of machine learning that were much simpler, sort of like what they used to call reduced instruction set architecture. And so it's very important work, but then we get into the art making part, and you start to see that a lot of the ideas surrounding, let's just say, for Brooks, the perception of the humanness of the machine, as well as its quality as art, is clearly dependent upon an interaction between the aesthetic judgments of listeners and their backstage knowledge of the means of production. And despite the apparent assumptions of universality on the part of Brooks and the radio hosts, in the real socially constituted world that robotic entities of this musical kind must engage, these kinds of judgments are going to vary very widely. And so the scientist's assertion that no human-like musical interaction can take place in the absence of eye contact demonstrates a lack of conception with the meanings embedded in sound. Logocentric privileging, perhaps mirrored in scientific research inquiries taken more broadly. And moreover, the notion that visual elements can constitute the foundation for the sonic art of music seems kind of detached from our everyday experience, to say the least. I mean, there's an awful lot more. For example, the idea of actually a machine that, for example, actually played a piano. Don't get us any closer. The thing that you start to find out is that what this demonstrates, above and beyond simply critiquing people and having a beef with them, is the notion that we do need closer connection, bridging the two cultures. And I think that in a lot of ways, the work that I do in this sort of thing was inspired by an earlier generation of MIT scientists, most notably Marvin Minsky, who was one of the people who sort of inspired me to start thinking about improvisation in a serious way. While I was sitting in his house, and he loved to play the piano. He had pianos all over his house. He's got pianos everywhere, and he thinks of himself as an improviser. So I said, well, Marvin, if you're spending all your time, doing improvised music, then why are you guys sitting around studying composition? Why don't you study improvisation? It's in real time, it's all the transactions we're trying to get machines to do in the real world. He says, well, you can't study that. Brought up, what do you mean you can't study that? It was sort of like, the image of kind of, you have to kill the chicken in order to eat it. In other words, improvisation is too wild to be studied. You have to kill it, and no longer becomes improvisation. So, I took that as a challenge, and so here we are.
Produced by Duke University, online at duke.edu.